To my show, Just Jazz, Saturday nights from 10 to midnight on KCAA 1050 AM.
1050 AM. Don't forget that number. And for you young people who got here by accidentally fat-fingering your FM band selector, we're an AM radio station, and AM refers to more than just the time of day.
Hey there, sports fans. Chab Dog here. You have tuned into one of the best shows on the air for all of your up-to-date sports coverage and news. You haven't laughed so hard and been informed so much until you've heard it from the mouth of the sports expert himself, El Chab Dog.
Hello.
Welcome to Chab Dog Sports, and I'm Mike Patterson, sitting in for Chab Dog, who is traveling, and I brought in the guest host that I had on last week, who's a little tardy, but he's here now, Darren Stout, and we're sitting in, Chab Dog's traveling, so we're going to interview or talk to our college coach, where Darren and I played at Mount San Antonio College, Art Mazmanian. Coach, how are you today?
I'm terrific, Michael. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well, thank you. We had some technical difficulties, and so that's why we got you on early, but I'm pretty sure that between Darren and I, we could talk to you for more than an hour. So we're all good. So, Coach, we thought we would break it up a little bit, and we just wanted to do a quick bio of your legendary career. So, you went to Dorsey High School. You were given a scholarship to go to USC from the legendary coach Rod Dato, who coached at USC for 45 years.
Yes.
And then, after your career at USC, you went into the pros. You played professional baseball for 6 years, made it from the bottom, whatever they called it then. I know it as rookie ball, but then you made it all the way up to AAA with the Yankees. After that, you became a scout after you got out of the professional baseball?
Well, I was scouting all the time while I was at Mount Sac and at Dorsey High School, and the first rookie league began in 1956.
Okay.
They never had a rookie league then. I had quit playing in '54.
Yeah, they call it the D League or something.
No, back then it was the Nebraska State League. That was the first rookie league they ever had. It was the best idea they ever came up with in baseball. Okay. Because prior to that time, every player who signed and reported to a team went to a team that had been playing already for 2 months, and that was tough.
Right.
To join a team when the pitchers are fresh, it's June, middle of June, and you're a kid out of school. Most of the kids then were out of high school, and about 20% were out of college, and you're joining a team that had been playing for 2 months, and that was really tough on every player.
Okay.
And baseball finally got together and decided, why don't we start a league where all the rookies start at the same time.
Okay, and then after you were done with your professional career, I believe you told me you coached at Dorsey High School, both baseball and football, for a number of years.
Yeah, I coached football 18 years and baseball 13 years.
Okay.
Because I got in 5 years of football coaching. All the time I was at USC, I went back in the fall and help my coach in football because I wanted to be a football coach also.
Right. And then after that, you got the job at Mount San Antonio College, where you spent 31 years. You are a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame. And when they rebuilt the sports complex, the baseball and softball fields, they honored you by naming it Art Mazmanian Field.
That's true.
Yep. And then the surprising thing that I had heard that you were helping Andy Nieto, an old guy that Darren and I had played with at Mount Sac, who went on to USC, at one time was the third base coach at USC, and then he was coaching at Bishop Amat, and you were up there helping him out.
No, that's not true. I went to South Hills and helped Kevin Smith.
Okay, I got that.
The rival
is now the coach at Damien High School.
Right, okay. I'm sorry. I got that story wrong. And then the surprising thing was, last time you and I spoke, you told me that up until you were 86 or 87, you were still helping out at Claremont College.
Yes, I was working there this past year. I only made it through half the season. I ended up feeling awful tired and had a tough time climbing the stairs and walking to the field, and I thought, I can't live this way. I went to my doctor. He sent me to a heart clinic. I was 88, and they found 2 arteries that needed to be opened and an aortic valve that needed to be changed. And I thought, you know what? Do it tomorrow morning. As early as you can do it, the better, because I can't see living this way.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened on March 24th, and I'm feeling terrific. I haven't had a day of pain. My brother, who's 92, had it done 4 or 5 years ago, the very same thing, 2 arteries and his aortic valve, and he's doing just fine. He just doesn't have his memory. I have my memory.
Well, obviously, and that memory stores a lot of knowledge about baseball. So we don't want to get too involved. We're going to be up to a break here in a few minutes, but we want to circle back and start from the beginning and ask you some questions. Darren had a couple comments about a quote that we found online.
Coach, honor and a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, Darren, can you speak louder? My hearing is not very good.
That's all right, and my voice is soft, so
okay. Thank you.
No problem. So, there was a quote that was written about you that, in 1949 you were signed by the New York Yankees.
Right.
You were a bonus baby at the time, right? So the maximum you could sign for was $4,000, which you received.
Yeah, back then, if you got a penny more than $4,000, the major league team had to keep you on their 25-man roster, which
right.
means that was their way of discouraging giving a decent-sized bonus.
Right, you had to go straight to the bigs, right?
At that time, one of the high school standouts was Billy Consolo at Dorsey High School, and he ended up getting signed for $60,000, but he had to sit on the bench for 2 years and played very little with the Boston Red Sox. So that was a real handicap, and they changed the rule after a couple of years.
Right, yeah. That same year, they signed Mickey Mantle, the Yankees, for $400. But the quote was, Mickey Mantle went on to have a Hall of Fame career. Art Mesmanian went on to have a Hall of Fame life, which I find most interesting. You've taught, you've mentored baseball players through many decades, and a lot of us have taken away a lot of the Mazisms, if you will, and I use them in my life. I use them with my children. The 5 Ps, right? Proper planning prevents poor performance. But interested to know, like, from baseball in the mid to late 40s in college, and baseball in college today, while the game is the same.
Absolutely the same.
Interesting to hear what your take is on what the differences are from a player perspective, and how do you think it's changed over the last?
I don't think the game has changed. I think that a lot of the managers are not doing what they should have been doing and should be doing. I get sick and tired of watching a lot of the games in the big leagues where the guys don't even tag a guy out that's sliding into the base. How few of the infielders, they don't put the glove right in front of the base where the runner's foot has to come. They tag a guy up around the knee.
Right.
And it happens over and over. I saw it again last night. And there was a play where the catcher had the ball before the guy got there. And he ended up letting the guy slide into home plate, and he tagged him almost knee-high. And the umpire called the guy safe, and he was rightfully to do so. The game doesn't change. It's just trying to make sure that the player plays the game the right way at every position. And you can't slack off on that. You can't lower the standards.
Right. So fundamentally, you think it's changed, but not.
Hello?
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah.
I think we got to take a break right now. If you can hold on, we'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Okay, Darren, I'll hold on.
Thank you.
Highlights from year one of Chab Dog Radio. You can find our Chab Dog Radio blogcast at Chab Dog Sports Blog under the blogcast tab and at Chab Dog Channel's Blog Talk Radio. Check it out and laugh. Yeah, I got that one too. What about Houston, Dallas?
I've got Houston.
Do you have Houston?
Yeah.
They're winning. And I had Houston.
What
too.
about Cleveland and Boston?
Oh, that's all Cleveland.
Oh, darn.
I can't believe you picked against the King.
What?
I can't believe you picked against the King. LeBron.
Who's the King?
You know the King, LeBron.
I have no clue who that is, Chab Dog. Enlighten me. Enlighten me.
What about Portland?
Is that
and
some
Memphis?
kind of LeBron? What is that? Is that an electric razor?
Well, he's only the most celebrated, well-known basketball player of all time, or at least in recent times. He's the guy on the Monopoly commercial.
I thought it was Wilt Chamberlain.
LeBron, now, Stephanie, you're just playing stupid here. I know you are.
No, I'm not.
Anybody that could have gotten all those NCAA games right knows everything. LeBron James.
I know more about college basketball than this rigged crap. Which we all know is rigged.
All right, we're back at Chab Dog Sports. I'm with Darren Stout, my guest, and we have our coach, Art Masmanian, on the line. So, Coach, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the 1984 Olympics, back when they still used amateur ball players to play in the Olympics. What are your memories about that?
Oh, it was an outstanding team that was assembled in '84, and stars were Mark McGuire and Clark and Odeby McDowell, and it was just a terrific ball club. They traveled the country, played 40 games before the Olympics, which might have tired them out quite a bit before the Olympics actually were played. We went on tour with the Japanese team, with the Korean team, playing them 7 times on tour, and it was just an outstanding bunch of players. 16 of them made the major leagues, but they were still only college kids, whereas Japan, they would have guys that were 27, 28 years old, because in Japan you can either sign with the professionals or you can sign with the semi-pro team and work for a company for the rest of your life, and their league was as good as their pro league in Japan. So consequently, when they finished their college careers, they continued to play, and they were 27, and most of the guys on their team were 27, 28, and had been playing steadily for 10 years, and they were a very good team. And we beat them 6 out of 7 on the tour, and in the championship game, the gold medal, their left fielder hit his home run for the first time in the 8 games, a 3-run homer, and that was the one we couldn't catch up to beat them.
Right. So you and the team won a silver medal at that time.
Yes.
That's nice. Now, I also know that when you were coaching at Mount Sac, you used to also coach short season ball for the Yankees and the Orioles. And
Yankees, the Orioles, the Dodgers, the Kansas City A's. I did it for 17 summers.
Okay.
Kansas City A's, you're dating yourself, Coach.
Pardon?
Kansas City A's, you're dating yourself.
Kansas City Athletics, when they first moved out from Philadelphia.
Yep.
That was 1956 was their first rookie league team.
So
in Grand Island, Nebraska.
So you have 2 World Series rings, one from the Yankees and one from Baltimore, correct?
Correct.
Nice.
So Coach, just wondering, in those years with the Orioles and the Yankees, if you could share maybe some stories with some players that maybe made it to the majors that, while they're in their minors, they were kind of honing their career and trying to understand the game.
Well, I think in the 17 years, I had 3 kids that were just 17 years old, their first year in pro ball, that I think were outstanding. I had Jack Clark that hit the home run that knocked the Dodgers out of the World Series, out of the playoffs. And Don Mattingly was 17 when the Yankees signed him, hit .352 at Oneonta, New York. I have to say he was the best 17-year-old hitter I'd ever seen. Unbelievable that he could hit .352 facing college pitching 3 out of every 4 games. And he was 17, and those college pitchers were at least 21. And it was just no high school kid that young could hit over .260 in that league. That's how tough the New York Penn League is for a rookie ball. And then I had Rex Hudler, who played for the Angels for many years and started out with the Yankees. And he was only 17, and he hit .278 in the New York Penn League. I think those were the 3 most outstanding. With the Yankees, we had a number of players. Mike Pagliarulo that played in rookie ball, and they had a great scouting staff. People don't understand that if you want your major league team to be good, your scouts have to sign the right guys, to draft the right players. And if you do that for 2 or 3 years, you'll be contending.
Right.
That's how important the scouting staff is.
Was it different back then, Coach, as opposed to now with the free agency?
Not really, because now, because of the draft that started in 1965, every team had a chance to become a contender if their scouts would pick the right guys. Somewhere around 1988, the Dodgers hit the jackpot. They signed 7 or 8 guys like Sutton and Garvey and Lopes, and they hit it big. Those kids all came through at the same time and carried them for about 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, well, they
didn't win, but they didn't win the championship. But that's what it takes to be fighting for the pennant. Your scouts have to pick the right guys because you only get the same number of draft picks.
Yeah, they had that famous infield that was together for a long time.
Right, absolutely.
And I remember
the thing about Mattingly that impressed me the most was the self-confidence he had at 17. We were playing Elmira Red Sox one night, and we got beat 2-0 by a left-hander. And he had joined us late. Excuse me. Mattingly had joined us a week late, and I didn't know he was even a first baseman. We already had a first baseman. We had Don Demeter's kid, Todd Demeter, and he was the Yankees' #1 pick that year. And Donnie was about the 17th round pick, and we didn't know how good he was. And one night, and we weren't playing him against left-hand pitching the first week or so, and we got beat 2-0 by a left-hander by the Elmira Red Sox. And coming back on the bus, everybody was quiet. Nobody was talking. And all of a sudden, Donnie was sitting across the aisle in one row back from me in the front row. And he said, well, Skip, I think it's time the young guys got to hit the left-handers. Well, my head shot around, and I said, you can hit left-handers? He said, I sure can. I says, all right, from now on, you're in there. And he was, and he stayed in the lineup the rest of the season and hit .352. Absolutely outstanding for a kid 17 to hit that college pitching like that. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, hitting a left-hander versus a left-hander is always a challenge. I just had a quick comment. I remember throwing batting practice when Darren. What did we refer Mount Sac to?
The airport?
No. About the going to the pros.
Preschool
for the majors.
Yeah.
Right, Maz?
Preschool for the majors. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we had 115 kids sign a pro contract. That was just amazing, absolutely wonderful.
And I remember some of the talent that used to come through there to work out in the winter. Ron Renicky, Davey Lopes, Gary Ward, Dave
Terry
Stewart.
Clark, he won his first 5 games for the Angels.
Yeah, Terry Clark, yes. I remember Terry.
Keith Lockhart.
Tim Corcoran. I saw Tim Corcoran hit a home run off Nolan Ryan in Angel Stadium. First batter of the game.
Lead off dong, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. What a joy it was. What a pleasure to be coaching. I knew I was going to be a coach when I was 14 years old. I prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, you want me to be a preacher or a coach? And boy, he opened and shut doors. Unbelievable.
I think, Maz, I think you're a little bit of both. I think
I can't hear you.
I think you were a coach and a preacher.
Yeah.
Oh, coach and a preacher?
Oh yeah, both of them. I remember distinctly, and I coached my kids, and I coached in high school and a little bit of college. And one thing that I recall, I mean, you would never curse ever. You're a man of strong faith, which I always thought highly of you.
And I've mentioned on this show before, Coach, when we were talking about my baseball career, such as it was, my quote about Art Mazmanian was, he taught me more about being a man than he taught me about baseball.
Oh, thank you, Michael. That's just music to anybody's ears.
Well, I was around there long enough, 4 years.
Yeah, well, sometimes some of us are slow learners.
4 years at a 2-year school. That's outstanding, Michael.
Well, in my defense, first-year coach said, you need to mature, so don't carry 12 units. The second year...
I thought, I know the school didn't like that policy, but I believe it helped so many kids, so they saved a year of eligibility that they might have just wasted. That, after all, there were 100 guys out there every year trying to make the team.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and you made the right decision for me, but you allowed me to travel with the team, and you allowed me to work out the entire year, and that I did really mature. And then I had a year of redshirt where I hurt my elbow, Darren.
Yes, you did.
All right, Coach, we got another break coming up. We'll be right back in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Okie doke.
We'll talk to you then.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey there, sports fans. Chab Dog here. You have tuned into one of the best shows on the air for all of your up-to-date sports coverage and news. You haven't laughed so hard and been informed so much until you've heard it from the mouth of the sports expert himself, El Chab Dog.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
The law office of Brandon S. Chabner, serving clients in Southern California
with transactional legal services since 2007. We handle general, corporate, outside counsel type work, drafting and negotiating a wide variety of business and commercial contracts, including non-disclosure agreements, independent contractor agreements, and employment agreements. Our experience includes working with public and private companies and involves a broad range of industries, including healthcare, consumer products, real estate, and high technology. Mr. Chabner has over 20 years of legal experience, having worked for some larger national firms and serving as general counsel for a multi-million-dollar private company here in Southern California before starting his own legal practice. His educational credentials include a law degree from UCLA, where he was on law review, undergraduate degree at Yale, where he graduated magna cum laude, and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Other areas of focus for Chabner Law include press release and business plan editing, pre-litigation matters, and debt and mortgage resolution work. You can contact us at 310-698-0740 and at bchabner@chabnerlaw.com. Check out my sports blog, your home for head-of-ears sports headlines. At Chab Dog, we cover the world of sports, from NFL to competitive eating. At our blog, you'll also find Chab Dog's own brand of uniquely original blogcasts for the major sports events. We hit home runs with our coverage. We also have a reading room where you'll find interviews running across the sporting spectrum, along with our vote questions, our Chab Dognostications, and of course our much-beloved Chab Dog of the Month. What you can count on from Chab Dog is our stretching the playing field envelope to find the humor, irony, and weird connections that are always living beneath the surface of the sporting world. Check us out at chabdog.com. Hey there, sports fans. Chab Dog here. You have tuned into one of the best shows on the air for all of your up-to-date sports coverage and news. You haven't laughed so hard and been informed so much until you've heard it from the mouth of the sports expert himself, El Chab Dog. Hey there, sports fans. Chab Dog here. Welcome to another edition of...
Coach.
Yes.
We're back. Well, we got a couple minutes. The schedule got a little bit reversed, and we appreciate your flexibility. Love to have you on again some other time. Real quickly, when they dedicated the field to you, you had a special guest or friend that said some kind words. Tell us about knowing him when he was a bat boy at Dorsey High School.
He was our bat boy, Sparky Anderson. He was our bat boy when I played 4 years at USC. He started there when he was 9. His house was right on the campus, and he came over one day with a ball he said that he found on his front lawn and gave it to Coach Dado. And from that day on, he had a tremendous friendship with Dado. He learned so much from Dado.
Sure.
And he was our bat boy for 4 years during that first national championship team. He's right there in the center row in our team picture. And we called him George at Dorsey High. We both went to Dorsey High, but I was 7 years older than he was.
Right.
And George is a great example of perseverance and never giving up, because he really couldn't run, he couldn't hit much, and he couldn't throw, and yet he made the big leagues. That's really showing you he knew how to play ball, and he impressed every manager he played for.
That's
he became a great manager himself.
That's a tough combination, and yes, he did. He had a stellar career with Cincinnati, and did he go anywhere else, or was he always at Cincinnati?
Yeah, he played his 1 year in the big leagues as a everyday player for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay. Well, Coach, we got to cut it short. Again, we thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure and an honor to speak with you, and I will be in touch, and I would love to have you back on.
Thank you, Michael, and you tell Darren. I really appreciate both of you guys, the years and the effort you put in for us at Mount Sac. Thank you very much.
We learned a lot. All right, Coach.
All right. Bye-bye.
And we'll be back with a little bit more of Chab Dog Sports here in just a minute.
Welcome to another edition of Chab Dog Sports Talk and Chab Dog's Blog Talk Radio channel. This is Chab Dog here. I've got Dan Shirley from Crossover, which is an interesting company that seems to market to the basketball, football, and other athletic pursuits. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So, Dan, what's your official title there with Crossover again?
Yes, I'm a senior account executive on the sales team here. I was actually just promoted from account exec to senior account executive. So it's been it's been a good ride thus far. Yeah.
And so you have to make it happen in terms of finding business and new customers for the company and keeping the existing people happy, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Talking to these coaches, keeping them happy is obviously, goal number one. But getting them those wins is obviously big too. So, focusing on them, but also focusing on the product at the same time is always a challenge, but also something that we enjoy here. So, it's good though. And as far as my position goes, it's really just getting in front of the coaches, talking to them, showing them exactly what we do here, how we can provide value to their program, and really, not only saving them time, but getting them more wins. That's the bottom line. So
tell us a little more about the actual product that Crossover provides.
Definitely. So, to put it simply, Brandon, really what we are is a service. We're going to go in and we're going to basically be the assistant coach for these coaches. I understand on the high school level, a lot of these coaches don't have a big staff as a D1 program has, where all these guys are going in, clipping, tagging, statting, categorizing all this film that they have. Especially on the high school level, all the way to, JUCO and going up to college even, these guys don't really have the time and the bandwidth to be doing all this stuff. So what we do is, they'll send us the film, we'll go in, our indexers will clip, tag, stat, categorize all this film, and give it right back. Essentially, we are full-on service, providing film breakdown and in-depth analytics.
Right, and you can provide what's the kind of turnaround that usually you can do with film?
Yeah, definitely. So, we do it as fast as 12 hours, 24 hours, basically within that range. But yeah, typically next day delivery. We have guys working around the clock, going in and doing that. They're waiting for film to come in, no matter when a coach uploads, whether that's right after a game on a Friday night or 3 a.m. on Saturday. The turnaround time is typically going to be a 12 to 24 hour turnaround time, which for most of our coaches serves just perfect. They find that just fine. So that's.
So what does it mean when you say that the film gets tagged? Like that means that it'll actually, when they get the film back, it'll have stuff coming up on the screen that wasn't there before?
That's a great question. So our indexers will go in, let's say, for example, if we're watching basketball film, our indexers will go in, maybe it's a half-court offense, so then we'll go in, tag half-court. And then maybe that point guard will dish the ball to the shooting guard. The shooting guard will hit a three. We'll tag that the point guard had an assist. The shooting guard had a three. It was at this point in time in the game. We're going to tag all of that stuff. What allows the reason why that's great for the coaches is, they don't have to go in and just timestamp all of this stuff and understand where they all stand during the game. They can just go into our filters, maybe click, their point guard. That's going to pull up all of his plays because we've already tagged them. And then further, he can click maybe assist, right, to layer on top of the point guard so that now you're going from every play in the whole game down to maybe 2 or 3 plays in the game that we tag because he's just trying to look at the assist. So for us to go in and tag everything really gives the coach, frees him up with a lot more time to actually look deeper into the game and maybe unearth these strengths and weaknesses on the team rather than focusing on clipping and tagging himself.
Yeah, that sounds like very time-intensive
Oh yeah,
work
no,
that he can't afford to be doing.
Yeah, no, we did a study last year. I want to say, yeah, we did it last year. We saved coaches on average during the season 80 to 90 hours per season, just through them, rather than them breaking down their film, we do it for them. We save them that much time. And really what I tell my guys is, my coaches, I tell them, not only, think about where you can reinvest that time you have on your hands. Not only can you work on your players, but also you can reinvest that in family and other stuff like that. And for us to penetrate their personal lives and give them that free time has really, really made us blow up in the industry. And I think it's a big part of why we're so successful.
Yeah. And is there separate software that they have to put on their computer to be able to interact with the way you've tagged it?
As far as the coaches go?
Yeah.
Nope, that's a great question. So really all the coach has to do is go on online, go on, pull up a browser, type in crossover.com, input his login info, and then he's going to be able to look at all of the breakdowns right away.
Oh, okay. So it's all once he logs into your system, he has access to everything.
Correct. We're completely web-based, so it doesn't matter what computer you're on, what device you're on. You're going to, as long as you have internet, you're going to be able to access your account. Even further than that, right in the fall time here, we're going to be coming out with our coaches and players apps as well, where all of the coaches, all of the players can come in and actually access all this stuff on their phone, which is going to be absolutely huge going forward. I mean, I know a lot of programs out there, you can't access that stuff on the phone, where that's going to be able to happen going forward on their phones and iPads.
Yeah, that sounds like it's gonna blow your market up there.
Oh yeah, no, it's huge. I mean, Brandon, I know that we're marketed really as a coaching tool, but to think about the value that we provided the players as well. I mean, I look at more on a player aspect. Being a former, college athlete, thinking about the season all year, really thinking about, wins and losses and trying to wrap my head around it. The players really are the ones that are benefiting a lot as well. I mean, for them to come in, click their own name, look at the plays that just they were involved in, or just their shots, or just their turnovers, rather than looking at the game from beginning to end in the game that they just played in. That's how me and you used to watch film when we were watching film in high school and college. We just had to put the tape in the TV set and watch the game. But now they can go in and just click their own name and look at their own plays. And that's really what's been putting us on the market is, not only how we engage the coaches, but how we're engaging the players. And I think that's huge.
Mhm. And you're heavily. It sounds like you're doing a lot of business with high school and college teams, right? And what about the pros?
As far as the pros go, we are working with a few teams on the pro level. It's more custom work with them. We're more willing to see exactly what they want on their end, and then for our indexers to go in on a custom basis. But yeah, we've been definitely getting some pro teams. But yeah, like you said, I mean, high school and college is definitely our top market there. I think that's where we're having most of our success. But that's actually a good point, Brandon, is that all these analytics that we're putting out, all these in-depth numbers, we're really pulling those from a pro level arena and bringing them down even through college all the way down to high school for all these high school teams to really learn more about their own strengths and weaknesses and where they stand on all of these stat lines. So really that's been a big part of our model is, how can we provide the most value through numbers and analytics, even at the high school level? And everyone knows. I mean, if anyone's been even watching SportsCenter and all of this and all of the media outlets, analytics is a big buzzword in sports nowadays, and you can tell that it's really starting to get into the high school level, which is a big thing. I mean, some of these coaches that I talk to, I've never even thought about the analytics, but once they actually get brought into the program and see exactly all the numbers it's very in-depth numbers here that we're giving them, but at the same time, it's not too cumbersome for them to take a look at, and I think that's definitely helping them a lot, learn more about their players and where they stand amongst the opposition there.
Yeah, that's probably helping the quality of play in high school.
Oh, for sure. No, it's definitely helping the quality. I mean, I know we as far as the high school level goes in basketball, we worked with 51 state championships alone this past season.
Mhm. Wow.
So,
is this also applicable to football?
This is very applicable to football. We're growing our football market rapidly. Guys are very excited. A big reason why we're booming in football is really the scouting aspect of things as well. Some coaches, they really do like to get their hands on their own game and take a look at it. A lot of these coaches are receiving scout films left and right, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 films per week on their opponent, and they don't have the time. They don't have the time to break down that stuff, Brandon. So we can go in and handle all of that for them throughout the week. So before they sit down and understand their plan of attack before they hit Friday night, we're going to have all of those teams scouted out and ready for them to take them on Friday night. So as far as football goes, it's been very successful, and I'm excited because I think that's in a market where we're really about to boom for sure.
Yeah, there's somebody that maybe after we're done I can talk to you about that does a lot of stuff with I think he comes into contact with a lot of high school football programs, and
okay.
I'd like to give you his information and maybe put you in touch with him.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, somebody you'd like to meet, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, so it's never, you don't run into like conflicts of interest here where you're working for one team and then you're working for another team, and what happens if they have to play each other the same week?
Right. I mean, we obviously love it. We want as many teams as we can come on board. And that's how we build our business is, some of these teams find out that the team that they lost to on Friday night had crossover, and now they're interested.
Mm-hmm.
So a big way in terms of building that football market as well as our film exchange platform. We really allow teams to exchange film for free on our platform, and sometimes a football coach that doesn't have us, he'll get a game from another crossover coach, and he'll hit us up and he'll say, hey, I just got this film from one of these crossover guys. I'm really interested. I'd love to talk more about it. So
yeah.
I mean, as far as a conflict of interest goes, it's always interesting to see where our teams are landing. But obviously, we would like every team to crossover versus crossover would be fine with us as long as they're on it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll have to work those things out as they come up.
Right. Exactly.
And, I saw Mark Cuban's on your website. Is he a client?
He is not.
No?
I can tell you one of our big investors in crossover is Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers.
Oh, okay.
Huge proponent of crossover.
Yeah.
We have worked with the Cavs, and Dan will stop by the office every now and then, which is great to see. Such a big name in sports still stop by our office in New York here. So he's a big proponent. He definitely sees, and so does Mark. I know Mark does too, but they both see where analytics are going, and they both know the value that a company such as ours can provide, and even the growth potential is definitely it's huge here.
Mhm. And then you have it looks like some individual athletes that utilize your services for their highlight reels, right? And
correct. And this is something that has also really begun to blow up and put us on the map. Is you got to think about how back in the day, a lot of coaches, they had to go remotely to go watch that player and go see and scout them out and see, maybe go to 7, 8, 9 of his games. Now maybe the coach has to go to 1 or 2 of his games, but the rest of the games can get sent through crossover directly to him through those highlight reels, and those highlight reels are definitely helpful. I mean, we do work with a lot of colleges on the junior college level, where these 2-year programs are looking to send off all these kids to the 4-year programs. I mean, that's the goal for them to do that. So really the highlight reel option is absolutely critical there. They have to get all those highlights off to 4-year colleges where recruiters are trying to look at all of these guys. So the whole recruiting thing, the highlight reels, that's also been a huge factor. Away from even all the breakdowns and the packages that we provide, I think the highlights are even making their own little niche in what we can provide for a team. And that's been not only huge on the JUCO level, obviously, but also high school and top recruits going forward. We have worked with Nike EYBL. We had a partnership with them this year where we had all the content for all of their games in EYBL, and all the D1 guys are frothing out the mouth for that film. So that's where we also provide a lot of value. Is these D1 guys trying to look into all the top recruits, and partnering with EYBL has given us a chance to not only provide the film, but also get our name out to these nice D1 programs as well.
What's EYBL mean?
Not entirely sure what EYBL stands for. I know one of my basketball specialists could tell you there.
That's a certain college program.
The EYBL is the circuit where it's almost like a club circuit where it's not varsity on high school, but it's high school players teaming up, and there's 5 sessions where they come in. They'll play at different areas in the country where a lot of college recruiters will go and take a look, but also it's just a big tournament where everyone wants to win it. I know this year there was a big game-winning shot, and it made a lot of headlines. That's how the tournament ended. But I'm not sure if you've heard of Peach Jam, but Peach Jam is a really popular tournament. That's the last session of Nike EYBL. It happens here in the spring, in the off season, so a lot of these guys can get picked up and noticed by the D1 and D2 guys that are trying to pick up these guys for the upcoming year.
Yeah. And then I read about the SIQ product that you guys have too. What is that all about?
Right. That's something that we're working on in the intelligence, working with the players, really gathering a lot of data through the intelligence program. But that's still something that we're currently working on. That's something that'll be a little bit more polished down the line.
It had to do with predicting outcomes.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that that's more back end right now, as far as the developers and our indexers working on that. As far as the sales side go, it's something that we haven't really dived into too far going into. So that would definitely be something that I know I'd be able to expand on more as time goes on, maybe after basketball season here. But as far as I'm concerned right now, that's just not something that we're working on as the sales team, as the sales team goes.
Yeah, and are there any other companies out there that compete with you guys directly?
Yeah, we're a direct competitor with Huddle. It's Crossover and Huddle as a big competitor here. Really, what Huddle is they're a product, we're a service. So on Huddle, coaches have to put in all of that time for them to break down their own film and clip and tag and stat and do all of that stuff, whereas we're a full-on service. So that's kind of where we've differentiated ourselves as a full service here. Huddle. Huddle. They do. I know they're more of a football program, hence the name.
Yeah, it sounds more football oriented.
It is more football oriented, and that's kind of something that we provide as well. Is we're sports specific. We have our basketball service where you're going to get shot charts and stuff like that just for basketball, but then we also have our football service where you're going to get your down and distance report, your tendency reports, your formation reports. So we're not like a one-size-fits-all type program. We're more of a customized deal where, we're reaching those specific coaches in those specific sports. And I think that's, something that has really benefited us over the past couple of years in competing with Huddle.
Yeah. Well, you guys sound like you're doing well. You may have to hire more people to cover all these other sports too, like volleyball. I saw listed, and lacrosse, tennis. What about soccer? You're a soccer player, right?
Yep. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I played at Ithaca College there. That was great. Yeah. Still think I'm in my glory days, but but as far as soccer goes, that's in the pipeline. I believe that's going to be. We're going to try to get that in around next summertime. I can tell you that hockey is definitely coming soon. That's going to be that's something that we've been working on. That's definitely something that we've already started working on. Really, what the trick is when we're bringing on a new sport is working with the coaches, understanding exactly what we want to be able to tag and filter out. And
hockey sounds like that sounds like a challenge because
it's a challenge.
You got so many different players. They have all those lines. So it's a lot of details. You have to track all those.
And that's something that I can see us implementing is, a coach going in, maybe clicking, his first line, and then looking at all of his first line plays or his second line and going from there. But that also brings up another point about soccer is like that's the challenge of allowing ourselves to push out soccer is, where do we draw the line in all the tags that we can do for soccer? I mean, it's like with all the touches, first touch, second touch, long balls, chips, corners, indirect, direct kicks, all this stuff. That's all the stuff we have to consider and consolidate and still make it easy for the coaches to understand. So that's really the challenge that we face when we're trying to push out a program. Obviously, as far as football and basketball goes, it's very easy to categorize 2s and 3s and all that. And that's where we're really working on pushing out hockey and soccer and sports like that. But our vision is definitely all sports. That's the goal. That's where we want to move towards is, every sport. We don't want to leave any team out. I think that, we would be able to do that as long as teams can film their games. Then, we're going to find a way to get that team on, and I'm excited about it going forward.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're giving these clients a competitive advantage, and nobody wants to be left out of the party there. So
no one wants to be left out. Some guys give me a call and they're like, "Hey, I've been looking at you for a couple of years now. I didn't really want to switch off my current program, but another couple of my friends have you guys, and sometimes it's just something they can't resist. It's always funny to have coaches come full circle and end up in our corner there.
Well, in parting, do you want to give people your any contact information or any specific?
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, if anyone wants to reach out to me, feel free to shoot me an email. That would be Dan S as in Sam, Dan S at crossover.com. And for everyone to know this, it's crossover with a K.
Yeah, that's right.
Crossover with a K, not with a C. So Dan S at crossover.com, and that's crossover with a K. Please shoot me an email. I would love to hear from anyone, whether that be business related, about your team, about your athlete, your son, your daughter. I don't care what it is. I would love to hear from anyone. So that'd be great.
And they have a great website. Go to www.crossover.com.
Yep.
And Dan, thanks a lot for your time. I will be back in touch with you either today or tomorrow awesome. With one or two ideas I have for people you could call.
Awesome.
And I hope we.
And Brandon, thanks for having me. Honestly, it's been great, and I love talking reaching out all the way from New York City to California and getting your viewers on Crossover here. So thanks a lot.
All right. Well, it's my pleasure. Great meeting you at the Scout School event, and
definitely.
Good business development thing for you too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that was a great little Vegas trip we had there. So, all
right.
Yeah,
well,
thanks a lot,
Brandon. Try not to get
too
overheated there in New York City.
No, yeah, I'll try not to. It's starting to cool down a little bit, so I think we'll be fine.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Bye.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of buysellmakeoffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free. Consider this your invitation to sell. At buysellmakeoffer.com, you can sell as much as you want for the next 60 days without paying any fees whatsoever. Sound incredible? It is, and it's true. Buysellmakeoffer.com is the new exciting way to sell your stuff online. Make extra money right now. Sell your old car, furniture, video games, household items, clothes, even your home. Sell anything that's legal. Load up your stuff to sell right now at buysellmakeoffer.com. This is your official invitation to get on board to sell your stuff right now. Free for the next 60 days. And once you see how easy it is, you'll want to sign up for more because there are no item fees. That's right. Take this opportunity to move items from the other guys and sell it for free. You might even win a Samsung tablet, Amazon gift cards, and other cool prizes. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the future of online selling. You can use Skype to talk to your buyer or seller. Plus, you can use video to showcase your items. BuySellMakeOffer.com.
Good afternoon. It's a couple of minutes past the hour. I'm Di Rice with the latest in local news on KCAA 1050 AM. An agreement between the developer of the World Logistics Center in Moreno Valley aims to answer infrastructure questions over the next 3 days. It's among several elements of the project that need to be finalized to move onward. The project, equal to the size of 700 football fields, would be one of the nation's largest master-planned warehouse complexes. A traffic study found that it could have dramatic impact on the entire inland region, worsening congestion on Highway 60, the 91 freeway, Interstate 215, and the 10 from Chino to Banning. Public hearings begin tonight. Canyon Lake has been forced to extend a local state of emergency as officials try to form the fire department they promised after the city's contract with Riverside County expired. The county contract expired June 30th after the city rejected the supervisor's offer to extend the terms for a $1.75 million price tag. Canyon Lake officials had pressed for several years to rework the contract to lessen escalating costs eating up the city's budget. The city eventually stopped paying its bills, leading to the courthouse battle. As it stands now, Canyon Lake must depend on emergency responses from outlying county, Lake Elsinore, and Menifee stations, as well as private ambulances. Mostly sunny tomorrow weather-wise, not quite as hot, highs 91, and overnight lows tonight into the middle 60s. Currently it's about 95 degrees here in San Bernardino. I'm Di Rice. That's the latest in local news on KCAA 1050 AM. This report has been brought to you by usuniversity.edu. Few degrees hold the status of the MBA at U.S. University. Complete your MBA program in as few as 12 months. Quality, affordable education. That's usuniversity.edu.
Art Bell is back, and KCAA is his home in the Inland Empire.
There are a lot of people who think that we are Martians, that there's a strong possibility that we are Martians. That's why I said us. No, I'm serious. There was a civilization on Mars. That might have been us or our ancestors.
Nobody is more captivating than Art Bell.
Now, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there is something here that defies logical explanation.
Tune into the best, Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell.
The only way you're going to get the American people to pony up the billions of dollars, however many hundreds of billions it would be to go to Mars, the only way you're going to get them to do that is to convince them that we have a real reason to go.
Want to take a ride?
Art Bell is back, and KCAA is his Inland Empire home. Weekdays 9 to midnight on KCAA, 1050 AM.
This is KCAA.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Market Wrap. I'm Mo Ansari, and for the next hour, I'm going to talk about the markets, what happened today, what to expect tomorrow, in between, whatever you want to know. You can pick up the phone, give me a call, or you can send me an email at MOE, at Compact, that's with the K, COMPAK.com. Looking at the numbers, Dow up 0.39% on the day, gaining nearly 68 points after being down nearly 150 points, 125 points this morning. So good turnaround there, 17,545.18. S&P up 0.52% on the day, 2102.44. The NASDAQ up 0.86% on the day, 5091.70. The NDX up 0.79% on the day, 4566.37. The Russell up 1.02% on the day, 1225.09. The gold market up 0.5%, just a little bit over that, $5.70 higher, 1118.10, trading $1.50 lower right now at 16.90. Crude oil down 1.48%, 63 cents lower. New 6-year low for crude oil at 41.87. Interest rates sharply lower today, 4.5 basis points lower for the 10-year note, 2.15. The 30-year bond down 4 basis points at 2.801. Dollar higher by 0.31%. So overall, a good day in the market, even though we're down sharply after we got news that the manufacturing had slowed down dramatically in the New York State area, and that was a big negative, pushed the market sharply lower on the open. But then about 7 o'clock, we got the housing numbers, and they were better than expected, and that caused the market to take off to the upside again. So the cross currents continue in the markets. Light trading as we're getting to the last end of the August, the big holiday month. Europe is just about closed. Nobody's there. No one is there. And here, everybody's trying to get all the holidays in before the kids go back to school next week. So light trading overall, market waiting. We're just about exactly a month away from the September 17th Fed meeting. And the question is still, are they going to raise rates or not raise rates? This morning, they're not going to raise rates because the manufacturing is terrible. 2 hours later, oh, they are going to raise rates because housing is doing really good. So it's just half a dozen of one, dozen of the other. That's really what the market is waiting for. I think the Fed, if they raise rates by 25 basis points and then they say, we are going to be very patient and we are going to wait before we see some more strength in the economy, before we raise interest rates farther, it will become a non-event. But going into it, will they or won't they, will create the market volatility. The bigger concern I have is China. I've talked about that for the last 6 months or so. I think the Chinese economy is the big unknown. If they do go into a recession, China does, that pulls the whole world with it. I know people say, well, that's China. It's over there. No, what happens over there will affect you over here quite a bit, because we are interlinked, the global economies are, and the Chinese economy is the second largest in the world. So if the China goes into a recession, yes, that could push commodity prices even lower. That could push crude oil even lower. It could cause more deflationary fears. And once that deflationary fear starts to creep in, that's where people start to get worried. Crude oil continues to move lower. New 6-year low there. It fell to 63 cents today, where people are still worried that there's too much supply, not enough demand. And that's where everybody is thinking, where do we go from here? Many are wondering what is going to happen. Talking about China, it continues to make headlines as many wonder if things will get worse. Marcus Rodlauer is the International Monetary Fund mission chief in China. During an interview on CNBC, he was asked if he thinks the Chinese authorities and the central bank in Beijing have a grip on the slowdown and will be able to manage it so it doesn't get sharply worse. This is what Mr. Rodlauer had to say about that.
The short answer is yes. This is a difficult challenge. This economy is now adjusting, and that means slower growth. So this is complicated. It needs to be managed carefully. But overall, I think we need to welcome this adjustment, because if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen next year or the year after in a much more disorderly way. But bottom line is we feel they have control over what's happening. By and large, there is fluctuations going on. This economy is becoming more market-oriented, but we are quite confident that the underlying strength of the economy is weakening, but it is weakening in an orderly way towards something between 6.5 and 7 for this year, and maybe a bit less next year. We cannot compare China's economy today to an advanced free market economy. Many markets of the state's financial system are still under government control, which is a challenge and which is part of the problems, but it is also a benefit because they are able to address challenges and crises and shocks in a different way than in a fully market-determined economy. So it's two sides of one coin. In terms of crisis management, in terms of managing a slowdown like this, I think overall it may be an advantage.
So, 6.5 to 7%, no big deal. We go a little bit below 6.5%. That's okay. 2-3% growth in China would be a disaster, and that's what worries me about China. But if that doesn't happen and they're able to manage it, they have a lot of extra money, they have tremendous reserves, they're sitting on a lot of cash, and it is a centrally planned economy, so someone can just pull one lever and everything gets affected by it. So it is much more controlled, which is good on the downside because they can manage it better. On the upside, it creates problems, and that's really what free markets. It is not a free market, so it's a double-edged sword. So we will see how this plays out, and we'll see. But the market, as I mentioned, rebounded today after a big open on the downside. So when will this market really have an impact? We'll have to wait and see overall. And Mr. Dubarco Locus is the head of U.S. equity strategy at J.P. Morgan. He has a year-end target of 2250 for the S&P. During an interview on CNBC TV, he was asked if he still thinks we can get there from here, and if so, how do we do it? This is what he had to say.
Yeah, so our view still remains 2250 for year-end. I mean, look, S&P basically has been range-bound. Forward P multiple has been between 17.5 and 18 times. So now the question is, what does it take to sort of get us out of this patch? And hey, look, I would argue consensus for now is calling 0% earnings growth. We think that there is some more upside. The zero, so call it 4 to 5%, that should help also lift prices. If you look at more specific plays within the market, I think financials will remain an area that will have some juice left in it. Healthcare, and then a lot of the housing-related plays, I think, offer, for one, I would say stronger growth and also cheaper valuation.